fans, and welcome to another episode of Horror Q&A. We are Silver Screams. I'm Megan Salinas.
I'm Katie Cullen.
And today we are talking about the latest Jordan Peele movie, Nope.
Nope.
Nope, we're not?
Nope.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, beans.
Yep. Nope.
Nope.
I feel like a yip yip. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yip 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 yip. Yes. Now that we've gone Sesame Street, which I'm sure is the exact opposite, but it's about aliens, so we're bringing it back.
Now,
the rules of a horror Q&A are...
if you're new to the channel, if this is your first time here, or
welcome.
It's been a minute, so even if you've been with us for some time, when we do a horror Q&A, I see the movie.
I don't.
And Katie asks me questions about it while I drink whiskey.
And I eat popcorn.
And
when one of us runs out, the interview is over.
And
or when we run out of footage on the camera.
Yeah, one of the two.
We'll figure it out.
Also, typically speaking, these are a little bit more heavily edited videos because I appreciate the quick edits for comedy purposes. However,
today for editing we say nope.
Yeah, pretty much.
I am going to make so many of those jokes and we're not editing out any of them.
No. Dang, I've made a terrible mistake.
You have!
But honestly, one of the reasons why this channel has not updated as much is because we are both very, very busy people. And I'm going to be honest, I don't have the time or energy to put into editing. So we're just kind of doing a lo-fi horror Q&A, which are also fun. We just basically have a discussion about the movie.
Is the director's cut of the Q&A. And also, spoilers for the whole movie. I know nothing about it except aliens. So I'm going to be sitting here asking what the fuck happened. So, spoilers. If you haven't seen Nope, go see Nope. And then watch this video.
Yeah, you perfectly nailed it. This is your official spoiler warning. We're not holding anything back. We're going to be going into several huge plot things in details because I'm sure you will have questions.
I would say Get Out, but that's a different movie.
And on that note, we are here to have fun. I have only seen the movie once, and if you are familiar with Jordan Peele's filmography, you know that they are very, very dense features, where they are, the more you watch them, the more you are able to uncover and unpack, and they are very rewarding rewatch experiences.
You benefit from multiple viewings.
So I'm
not doing that.
Only seen this once, so I'm sure that there are a ton of teeny tiny little details that I missed in my initial viewing. And I will be honest, when I walked out of the theater, there was some stuff where I was like, oh, I kind of need some help unpacking this. Because again, they're very, very dense features. So I did watch a few kind of like Nope explained video essays because I walked out of the theater going,
Nope.
Jesus!
And like I said, I haven't seen it at all.
The other thing is that just like with Jordan Peele's other film, the other entries in his filmography,
repertoire.
Yes, the movies themselves are very, very much rooted in the Black experience. And even though I am a person of color, I'm third generation. I barely have any authority to speak as a Latina person.
You're fine. Obviously, I'm white as fuck, so no. So neither of us are qualified to speak on the Black experience, and we are not authorities and should not be taken as such. This is two people sitting here talking about a horror movie that she just saw and I want to know about. Yes. That's what these videos are. This is not authority. This is just fun times.
Definitely check out what Black critics have to say about this movie. I'm sure it will be far more insightful and meaningful than anything I have to say as I sip on my whiskey. So, on that note, go check out Nope. Go support Black critics and Black creators. And on that note, shall we get started?
Let's start.
Cheers!
So, what the fuck is this movie about?
So I saw Nope. What do you want to know?
What the fuck is this movie about? Like I said, I'm aware that it's aliens.
Yeah.
But every time, I swear, it's gonna be this. I will put down the popcorn bowl and I will make that stupid joke.
Your
You've been warned.
last warning. Last warning.
It's your drinking game. Take a sip every time we do a Nope joke or every time it's aliens. And I'm serious, sips. y'all.
I was gonna say no.
Be conscientious.
Don't do it.
This video is probably going to be long.
Don't do it.
What the fuck is this movie about?
This movie
Tell me.
is about the Haywood siblings.
Okay.
OJ and M, short for Emerald. It is about the Haywood siblings who work on the Haywood Ranch. Who they raise horses and they train horses for Hollywood. One day, it is based the very, if I was to boil it down, the long and short of this movie is they have an alien encounter and they decide to make it their mission to capture the alien, what they think is an alien spacecraft on film. And that is the mission that they go on, and they recruit several very eccentric people to help them out along the way. That is like the bare, like, if I want to like shorten and leave as many details out as possible, that is what this movie boils down to. It's these siblings trying to get photographic proof of an alien spacecraft. That is the long and short of it.
The living version of the I Want to Believe poster.
Obviously, again, this is a Jordan Peele movie, so it's a lot denser than that. And we can definitely go into a lot more detail about the how and the why they want to get this proof. But yeah, that is the long and short of it. It's these siblings trying to get proof of alien life.
I need more details.
And where should I begin?
What the fuck
Happened?
we go back to, I've seen like they had 2 or 3 trailers. I have seen the 2 or 3 trailers. I haven't Googled anything. I haven't looked up anything. I haven't watched any reviews. I don't know what the fuck happens, so I want to know what the fuck happens. Tell me about aliens.
The trailer did a very good job of showing you everything and nothing. It showed you everything and gave away nothing.
The Jordan Peele trailers are generally very good at that, and I have to wonder what kind of relationship he has with the editing house, with the trailer house, because, you know, trailers aren't made by the studio. They're a whole separate other enterprise where they just give them footage and say, go, basically. Which is why you wind up with so many trailers that have plot spoilers in them, because they're in the footage and it looks good.
I imagine that Jordan Peele definitely had something in his contract where he's like, no, like
Nope.
Yeah, pretty much, where it's like we're not giving anything away. I don't know if he would be as meticulous as to be like, I get final say I get final approval over what the trailers are going to look like. I don't know if that's how it is, but I'm sure that he's got such a great relationship with Blumhouse and Universal that
I mean, he kind of put Blumhouse on the map.
He and a lot of other really talented filmmakers definitely helped lift Blumhouse up to be the powerhouse in the industry that it is today. Sorry, I didn't mean to knock you. But the inciting incident of the movie, or at least where we kind of start, at least in terms of OJ and M's journey, is that one day OJ is out with his father, Otis, who is played by the amazing Keith David. Love that man. And OJ is played by Daniel Kaluuya, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But he was the main star of Get Out. He was in Black Panther. He's amazing. And just like everything else, he turns in a really good performance too. So he and his father are out training horses one day, and M isn't there, and Otis is very annoyed that she's not there because she is out there living the hustle. Like, she's always constantly hustling. She, jack of all trades. She also works in the industry, just does pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And so she's not there that day because she's got a million and one other things going on, and that very much annoys her dad because he thinks, like, you should be here. The ranch
Family
should be
business.
Yeah, the ranch should be your priority. And then all of a sudden, metal debris starts kind of raining down on them, and as a result, one of the horses gets injured, and also a quarter ends up getting lodged in Otis's head. and he sadly dies in spite of OJ's best efforts to try to get him to the hospital in time. And it kills him right there in Act 1 of the movie, like a couple minutes in. And it's...
So Keith, you've got like 3 pages of script.
Yeah, it's like, in what world does metal debris just rain down on our ranch for apparently no reason? And the official explanation is that it was a private plane that just dumped a bunch of debris kind of willy-nilly, and that there's no way of tracking it down. But that's the official explanation. Obviously, that doesn't sit right with OJ, and he's very, like, he keeps the quarter, like,
oh jeez,
he keeps the quarter.
Right.
It's like in a biohazard bag, and he keeps it because it's like, what the fuck? How did this happen? And so he hangs on to it because it's just, it's something that doesn't make any sense, and so he, like, I think kind of another theme in this movie is kind of having, how do you process trauma of something wholly inexplicable? And and so that's something that just kind of sits with him until more weird stuff starts going down, and that's kind of again the inciting incident of, okay, something weird,
like, shit's
something
happening.
weird is going on.
We need to get to the bottom of this, gang.
Yeah, pretty much.
Come on, Scooby.
And
Scooby-Doo mystery.
This is kind of also like, and as a result, he has to take over the family business. And so that's kind of when you get the idea that he and M, they don't have like a terrible relationship, but it is kind of semi-antagonistic.
Different people, different goals, clashing.
Yeah, because, well, his whole deal is that he really cares about the horses, and when he has to show up one day, to work on a film set without his dad being there, the people who are putting on the commercial are kind of shitty about it. They're like, oh, where's the other guy? And it's like, dude, do you not know he died? And they're very shitty about it. And poor OJ, he's like clearly not a fan of being in the spotlight. And I don't know if it's like a straight up social anxiety thing, but it's definitely like being a performer, and being seen is not his big thing. So it's very awkward when he has to do that. And luckily, M, who was running late, finally shows up, and you could see she's the exact opposite. She's the performer. She's the extrovert. It's not that she doesn't care about the animals. She just cares about her brand more, and she views the Haywood Ranch as her side.
Yeah.
No. She views the Haywood Ranch as her side hustle, whereas everything else is her main gig, and the family business is the thing she does on the side that she's not nearly as invested in. And so that's kind of where they butt heads and where they clash. And the reason for that is because of the way they were raised. Like, their dad, who, good guy, kind of hard-headed. Like, he kind of hard-headed and a little bit misogynist, because like there was one instance that M brings up where she was meant to train a particular horse for a particular job, and at the last minute her dad changed his mind and he was like, nah, OJ, you're gonna help me instead. And she held on to that. The horse's name was Jean Jack, and she was like, that was my horse. You went out there and you trained my horse. And she's just, yeah. And it's not like, again, it wasn't OJ's fault, but like it's definitely like you can see why she decided to invest more in herself than she did the Haywood family business. But
because it seemed like the Haywood family business did not invest back in her.
But it's not like she doesn't care about it, because
we get that from the very first trailer where she's talking about like the very first film, the very first horse. Our family's been training them since like.
And apparently that bit of film strip that gets teased in the trailer of the black jockey riding a horse, that is true. Mm-hmm. That is real film history. But sadly, the actual name of the jockey is lost to time. So the fictitious name that is assigned to him is part of the plot of this movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is their great-great-grandfather, or great-great-great-grandfather. Actually, funny bit about that, and this is how you know that she really does care, is that one of the reasons why she's so good and so slick giving that presentation is because she has it memorized, because it's the presentation that her father used to give. And later in the film, you actually see her pop in a VHS as she's multitasking, doing other things, and you hear Keith David's voiceover giving the exact same spiel. There's also a little tiny detail where she misses the correct number of greats because she has his delivery memorized.
Oh, man.
And so that's why you see OJ in the trailer go, great, and she's like, another great in there. Which, by the way,
wow.
Keke Palmer playing Emerald, absolutely amazing. If you've watched if you're familiar with this channel, if you've been around for a little while, you know
we love you.
We love Keke Palmer. She was one of the best things about Scream Queens when she's in it. She's in season 3 of Scream. We are watching it. We'll have more thoughts on that later.
Yeah,
we'll get to that at some point.
Again, but she's so many things.
So many things. But Keke Palmer is amazing, and she is just such a fun. She is such a fun person to watch.
She is. I believe the word is ebullient.
What does that mean? Sorry.
Just incredible charisma. If I'm remembering and using this correctly, I might not be.
I was gonna say
sometimes you misspend a $5 word, you know.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna be honest, I'm neat at the thesaurus. I'm not sure what that word means.
English degree. Anyway, so aliens.
Again, they notice some weird stuff going on, and one of the things
I am straight up gonna have you skip.
Okay.
Because I know that they get the security guys to come in and they set up the cameras and they set up the footage, and I know, again, from the trailers, like, there is a don't look up, don't look at them beat. So, like, I'm gonna need you to explain.
Okay.
Aliens.
There's a lot of other setup that's needed to talk about that. I'm going to skip it for now. We'll touch on that later. But
because I'm about to die.
the big twist of the movie is not that it's not a government weapon. It's not that this isn't a race of aliens that's here to conquer Earth or anything like that. It's not even an alien spaceship. It is an alien. Like,
oh, the whole ass thing is an alien.
Whole ass
like
thing.
Space Whale.
Yes.
Oh.
I have heard this movie described as, this is not an alien movie, this is a kaiju movie. And I don't disagree with that necessarily. It's not like a Godzilla, punch the monster sort of thing.
It's not Pacific Rim.
One could even make the argument that between the Akira slide that happens towards the end and kind of the design of the alien itself too, you could argue that, like, Jordan Peele might have been inspired by the angels from Evangelion.
No!
Like, the part of the reason why it's so difficult for them to actually catch it on camera is because it gives off an electromagnetic field that takes out any electronics in its vicinity. It can even kind of like target things to a certain degree.
Hence the metal rain.
And I've heard, well, no, no, the electromagnetic field just takes out any electronics in the area, and so that's one of the reasons why they actually have the inflatable guys, because the the electromagnetic field would take out the battery essentially, and then they'd be able to pop back up. If it's basically how they end up tracking it as the movie goes on.
Really great visual ping.
The metal are essentially the things that it sucks up and can't digest.
Oh.
And so it spits the metal back out.
So it's just hoovering up biological things to Nom, and then, like, it's like spitting out, like, shrimp skins. Or they don't have skins, they have shells.
Things it cannot digest, it spits back out. So any non-inorganic, like any inorganic material that it can't digest, it spits that back out.
I love this so much. Oh my god, this is great.
Which is why you see the the flags were part of the marketing campaign, is because at one point when they're really trying to figure things out, because they see it, OJ, he sees it.
Otis Jr.?
I believe so. They never refer to him that way, but I believe his name is Otis Jr. But they see the alien pick off one of their horses, and so they decide, okay, we're gonna figure this out, and they steal a fake horse from the nearby sort of tourist trap.
Rodeo show, sort of?
Jupiter's Claim is what it's called, which is run by Ricky Jupiter Park, played by Stephen Yeun. And we actually get flashbacks of him as a young person, and that is played by Jacob Kim. Surprisingly important.
Really?
Or at least when it comes to Jupiter's character specifically. And also tying in the main themes about the movie, because the big thing about the alien isn't so much that it's here to destroy or anything like that. The big thing about it is that it's an animal, and that's very much how it's treated. And I've heard a lot of talk about this movie that thematically it is about the respect we need to essentially give to nature, and it acts as a cautionary tale of what happens when you try to exploit animals for the purposes of spectacle, and how that can backfire on you. So putting a pin in that, because poor Ricky, poor Ricky.
I'm gonna say, where did the alien, kaiju, angel, my brain is stuck on angel now, so that's where we are. Angel.
It even starts with a biblical quote. I believe it's, I will cast filth upon you, or something like that, and I will make you a spectacle. I forget the exact quote, but that's the opening kind of verse
right
that
before the
movie
title card.
The movie opens with. And later, when the house gets rained on with blood, that's what the alien did. It cast filth upon them. That's what you get for messing with me. They steal a fake horse, put it up there, and it has the flags tied to it. And so the alien comes in, snaps up what it thinks is a horse, realizes it's been duped, and that, like, trying to suck up this fake horse hurt it a lot.
Ooh.
It got real mad, and it took its anger out on Ricky. Yeah.
What happened? What happened?
Let's go back.
Roll it back.
Back to 1996. And this is where the movie actually opened.
Really?
We got this before we got anything regarding the Haywood Ranch. Ricky Park was a child actor, and he was a child actor where in the 90s he was on a TV sitcom called Gordy's Home, which was kind of a Full House-esque sitcom with kind of an ALF setup, where we have this family who has adopted someone, and that thing happened to be a chimp. It happened to be a chimpanzee. And there was one day where they were doing a birthday episode for Gordy, the aforementioned chimp, and a balloon popped on set. and it set the animal off. And as a result, the animal killed and disfigured several of Ricky's co-stars.
Oh boy. Kids.
His kid co-star got permanently disfigured for life as a result of it, and it is supremely disturbing. It is a hands down one of the most uncomfortable thing in the movie, and that's even including the raining blood thing. But one of the things in the show was that he and Gordy, like his character and Gordy, would fist bump. They'd do an exploding fist bump. And
the 90s,
which he claimed originated with his character. And so after, like, he cowers under a table, he hides, and after the chimp has calmed down a little bit, it notices him, and it goes over to him completely covered with blood and gore, and it goes in for a fist bump. And he goes to fist bump it back, and before their hands touch, that's when help finally arrives, and Gordy is shot and killed in front of this kid.
Oh my
and
God.
we don't get the entire thing in the opening. We only get a glimpse of it, and we get the full flashback later. But that is how this movie opens. Is essentially bits and pieces of that horrific moment. Like,
whoa.
This thing that is clearly now seared into this poor boy's consciousness. And unfortunately, the way he chooses to deal with his trauma is kind of, I don't want to say glorifying the event, but he's definitely like forever fascinated with it. He has a shrine to the show's memorabilia, like in his office as an adult, that he can like charge people money to like go and see. And this is what's tying into like the themes of spectacle. He is exploiting his trauma essentially, and putting it on display for people. And the terrible thing is that he has taken the exact wrong lesson from this horrible traumatic experience, which you can't 100% blame him for, because how do you process that kind of trauma? But the way he processes it is that he... And a lot of this is left unspoken. This is kind of left up to viewer interpretation.
Yeah.
But like... the way, at least I read it as him processing this trauma, was that he had a special connection with Gordy, and that's why he was spared. That's kind of how he, at least I think how he sees it. And so when alien activity starts happening, he's actually one of the first people to notice it. And the reason for it is to kind of stay afloat. The Haywood Ranch has kind of been selling them their horses. OJ was planning on eventually, making enough money to buy the horses back. But what happened is one of the aliens scooped up and ate some of the horses. Jupiter witnessed this, and and made the exact same mistake that the showrunners from his childhood thinking, I can exploit this. I can put this on display and make money from it.
Oh.
In the exact same way that Gordy was exploited. It is the arrogance of humanity.
Does he put up horses for the alien to...
Yes.
And so when the alien grabs a fake one, the pattern recognition goes, you.
Well, we don't know for sure, but yeah, it's not happy. It's not happy when that happens. And so the first day that he's actually, like, this is what he's been doing over the course of the last few months, is essentially rehearsing. The first day they're actually doing it as a show is right after this fake horse incident. And it's heartbreaking.
So if they've been doing this for months, then the alien is accustomed to real horse, real horse, real horse. If it's months, that's more than enough time to form a habit, to get training going. Like,
And so,
Oh
yeah,
boy.
Ricky, in his arrogance, assumed that he had complete and total control of the situation, when in fact, even when you think you have control, animals are unpredictable. And especially when you're
Siegfried
dealing...
and Roy comes to mind.
They even bring that up in the movie at one point. Even if you are a professional and you know what you're doing, things are still really unpredictable.
Happens.
Yeah. Like, stuff can go sideways so quickly. In the blink of an eye. And so, the day he's putting on the show, his wife is there. His children are there.
Oh dear.
There's not a huge audience. Oh, also, fun fact, the movie takes place in Agua Dulce, which I drive by all the time when I'm going home. So, like, this is the second movie to come out this year where it just, like, the actual location just makes me so happy, because it's like, I know there. The other one was Top Gun. They filmed that out in the Mojave Desert area. Or they filmed a lot of the scenes out in the Mojave Desert area, where I grew up.
With all the car commercials.
Like, yeah. And so I'm like, ah! And I pass Agua Dulce all the time when I drive home. So that's fun. Sorry, neither here nor there. I just think I just got a kick out of it. And I was actually...
You just really don't want to tell me what happens to Ricky.
Un momentito.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. There ain't much that can cause that.
So, and he also invited his former co-star, who, again, permanently disfigured. He invited her to come and see the show as well. Alien got real mad. I will say, good horsey. Because the horse that he had purchased from OJ was a horse called Lucky. It was the horse that OJ had brought to the film set of the commercial at the beginning of the movie. That film set also, like, same thing. Something unpredictable happened. Something shiny and reflective was displayed right in front of Lucky's face. Lucky freaked out. Almost kicked it up its back legs, almost hit the leading actress for the commercial.
Oof.
Didn't. Nobody got hurt, but OJ lost the job, and so had to sell Lucky to Mr. Park. And so Lucky is essentially on the chopping block. Lucky's a smart horse. Lucky chooses not to go. And, like, Ricky's trying to get him to go. Alien... not happy about the horse situation. And so Alien flies up. And again, normally it would have been chasing the horse, but because Lucky refused to leave its little enclosure, it came up, got real close and personal. And because one of the rules of this alien is that if you look at it, it views that as a sign of aggression.
Oh.
Which is why the don't look up. And that's something that OJ is able to intuit when he, he's able to intuit because he has such a good connection with the animals on their ranch. It's something he's able to kind of intuit, even when he's only just suspecting that it might be an animal and not an aircraft. But yeah, so everybody, Ricky, his children, his wife, his co-star, and everybody in the audience, they're looking up. The alien is already mad. It sucks all of them up because its design it's kind of like I said, it's seemingly angel inspired, but the shape it takes for most of the movie is kind of typical flying saucer. It almost kind of looks like a cowboy hat, where it's round, it's got a little thing on top, and a hole at the bottom. And just
vortex
in
Hoover.
traditional UFO fashion, it sucks up the entire audience. Everybody who's at Jupiter's claim that day gets sucked up, and you actually follow them to an extent on the inside of this alien, and you don't see it happen, but it is very clear that they are all consumed.
Yikes.
They are eaten. And again, we do not see...
Does it get Ricky, or does he have to watch?
It gets him. And so it's just this horrible, tragic character arc because he, like I said, he makes the exact same mistake as the showrunners. And everybody important to him in his life, including himself, paid the price for his arrogance, essentially. But again, it's heartbreaking because it's not like it came from a malicious place.
Yeah.
It was just literally, this is just the way he was processing trauma. And he was a child actor, too. Life in the spotlight, life as a spectacle is all he knew.
Yeah.
And that's the main word that keeps coming up is spectacle. Jordan Peele used that word in interviews talking about this movie, is that this is his spectacle film. And yeah, there's a lot of cool visual stuff in the movie, but it's about spectacle and our fascination with it. And the way I viewed it, I thought the movie was an indictment of clout chasing specifically, which is a part of the movie because the way Emerald is constantly plugging herself and her own stuff. And later in the movie, as we get to the climax, there's definitely somebody there who, there's more than one character who puts getting the shot, getting the footage that they need above their own well-being. One person, actually I would say two, to a comical degree.
It's like, y'all.
So yeah, with Ricky, it is a tragedy because that is the life that this character knew, and he suffered this traumatic event and took away exactly the wrong lesson from it. And those who don't learn from the past are doomed to repeat it, and that's exactly what happens, and everybody in his life pays for it. It is, along with a handful of innocent people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough, and it is hands down the most disturbing thing. There's also been a lot of criticism about it because, a lot of people, upon an initial viewing, kind of see it as irrelevant to the story, when in fact, it's the thing that ties in very heavily from a thematic standpoint. So I disagree with that assessment. But
this is actions having consequences, and the fake horse was not his action.
No.
But it tied in with all the rest of his actions, and then consequences.
Yeah, and again, he was duplicitous when it came to, dealing with OJ and company. There's also a scene with his kids after Emerald is the one that steals the fake horse. She's very funny. Again, Keke Palmer does such a great job. But kind of in retaliation, his kids decide to prank OJ. They have alien costumes because, again, they're prepping for an alien show. They have costumes, they've got merch, and so they dress up as aliens and run in to scare him one night. And it's a very, very...
So that goes well.
One of them gets punched in the face. It's very funny. Talking about a lot of tiny little details, though, and I will be honest, I can't take credit for noticing this. This is definitely something that, check out one of those, everything you
YouTube,
missed. Yeah, everything you missed.
Here's all the Easter eggs, here's what you missed, yeah.
But, the costumes that the kids wear. And again, they're not bad kids because their family was robbed. They had, they're kind of semi-justified in pulling a little bit of a prank. It's not like they actually, meant to hurt or if they stole anything back. Really, the worst thing that Ricky is doing is lying about the fact that he's feeding these horses
to an alien.
Yeah, to an alien, and lying about it. That's obviously not cool because OJ is clearly hoping to get the horses back. But, also, he's not a terrible person because I think in his mind, he was well, I'll make so much money, I'll adequately compensate him.
Yeah.
Or, if I buy the entire ranch, then, then it's not something I ever have to worry about, they're fairly compensated for what I'm doing. So again, not a bad guy. But the costumes, if you look closely at the alien masks that the kids are wearing, they look very, very similar to the cameras that were on the 90s cameras that were on set during this very traumatic event. Again, it's one of those things, I can't take credit for noticing it, but like once the detail is pointed out to you, you can't unsee it.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this movie is chock full of stuff like that. So unfortunately, when the alien eats all these innocent people, again, it's still really pissed. It goes over to the Haywood house, and that's when we get the rain of blood.
Oh my god.
It's not just any old rain of blood. It is specifically the blood of everybody who was at Jupiter's Ranch that day. It was the alien going, fuck, you want to fuck with me? Fuck you.
Wow.
Yeah. It is awesome and disturbing. It's really cool.
So how do you deal with an alien like that?
In the same way that you do with most predators, essentially, is they figure out how it works, and ultimately, again, they plan on getting footage of it, but you can't do that with regular electronics.
Yeah, with the EMP.
So M calls up actually the director from the commercial where they were fired from, because he's actually his name is Antlers Holst. He's played by Michael Wincott.
His name is Antlers.
Yeah. He has the coolest voice. And also, at one point, gives a very menacing delivery of the, it was a one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater. Sure looks strange to me. One horn? I wouldn't eat you because you're too tough. But like when they're coming up with his plan, he just starts reciting that song, because essentially that's what the alien is. It's not purple, but it is a one, and he doesn't have a horn, but it is a one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater. And he just starts reciting it. He has the coolest voice. It is downright scary to hear him recite the words to one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater. It is hilarious.
Eat your heart out, Chef Wooly.
But yeah, Angel Torres is the Fry's guy that they like. He's the person that they call when they start setting up security cameras, and he's also like a big UFO conspiracy theorist, so he's helping them out. Also,
So he would have really liked the Fries in North Hollywood.
It's actually the Fry's in Burbank that they go to.
Oh, that one.
It's the one with the alien ship in
that
it.
one.
It's,
That's the one I was thinking of.
it's
Neighborhoods that are very close to each other.
Again, it's just one of those things where it's like, I know there, and just it makes my heart
And for
sing.
the people going, what the heck? Fry's was an electronics chain where you could get like everything. And every single store had a different theme. The one in Burbank had an alien theme. There was like a flying
1950s alien.
1950s alien. So there was a flying saucer that you had to go under it, and it was part of the entrance. And on the inside, there was one area that had giant ants, like, not figurines, not the right word. These things were the size of a
like
car.
statues, I guess. Yeah.
Tank versus giant ant, and then there was giant robot holding woman, and then there was, just
Yeah,
all of the 1950s
1950s
alien
sci-fis,
tropes
yeah.
smattered across the store. There was one, I don't remember the location, but it was Lewis Carroll, so it was a whole bunch of Alice in Wonderland, but they also had a huge recreation of the Jabberwock hanging from the ceiling.
Is that the one in Topanga?
I don't know.
I think that's off of Topanga Canyon.
I only went
Road.
there once. So they were.
I might
they
have
were
that
all,
location mixed up.
So they were all themed, and unfortunately, Fry's no longer exists. Like, that is now a relic of the past. It went under.
But it was awesome.
It was absolutely incredible. Like, even if you're going to pick up a USB cable and a camera battery, it was fantastic to watch.
It was
an
super
experience.
helpful. Again, as people who had to go and get cameras and
Had to get
go and
a USB
camera
cable and a
batteries.
camera battery.
I'm pretty sure I bought this camera from Fry's.
And I bought the backup battery for it from Fry's.
But anyway,
So going to the Fry's in Burbank with the alien theme, just like, that was not created for the movie. That shit exists.
that is
Or
absolutely real.
existed.
Again, it tickles my fancy.
It's
it
like,
warms
oh,
my heart.
I love it. Oh, it's dead now.
Yeah. But yeah, so Angel's helping them out. He's a very funny character, played by Brandon Pereira. He does a great job. He's a lot of fun. Antlers is the person that they call, though, when it comes to, like, actually figuring out, okay, how are we going to capture this footage without an electronic camera? And Antlers, actually, the thing that he does, like, the way he puts it, he's like, I do one for them and I do one for me. He does, like, things like film commercials so that he can pursue his real passion of doing, like, nature documentaries. And so a lot of times you see him, like, scrubbing through footage of predators attacking prey. And looking at a bunch of, like, close-ups of different animal eyes. Which, again, I, like, the big thing about this alien is if it sees you looking at it. And so eye imagery is very important. But so they get him, he actually has a hand crank that he can use to basically film, like, with actual film, no electricity required. And so with his help and with Angel's help, they have this elaborate setup about, okay, how are we going to get the perfect shot? And based on what they know about it, the electronic field that it sets up, and then its pattern of behavior and the way that it acts like a predator, they're like, okay, we can form a plan where we can get the money shot, essentially. And they pull it off. Using a bunch of the, like, wacky inflatable like tube men, they use that to sort of track its location, and then they have OJ come in, like, with his hoodie set up, like, with fake eyes on the back of it to kind of get its attention, and so he goes and retrieves Lucky from the ranch, and that's when he finds out, I was right, it is an animal. I was right, it's an animal, and it ate them!
Why was it raining blood? You don't want to know where that came from. Just...
Again, very gross. It totally wrecks their house, too, because, again, just like with the beginning of the movie, all the inorganic material is also raining down on their house. So all the seats, all the metal, like, just do. And as OG is driving back up to the house as this is happening, too, the fake horse plants itself in the middle of his windshield, too.
Wolf.
Yeah, big wolf. Like I said, it was pissed. So yeah, they decide that they set up this whole thing. So they have the inflatable man to tell where it is. And they have OJ acting essentially as it's riding Lucky to get its attention, to bring it specifically into the line of sight of the hand-cranked camera. And their plan works. It goes off without a hitch, and like, OJ is able to hide under some like, cover, so that, like, okay, he's safe for the time being. But just like with a lot of other characters in this movie, the obsession and the clout chasing gets the better of Antlers. One of the things that they're dealing with is a guy from TMZ, because 40 people went missing. Yeah. A guy from TMZ shows up and starts, points a camera in Emerald's face and, like, tries to get her to talk. And you never see his face, which is very funny to me, but he gets the wrong idea about what's happening. He, again, zero clue, and he just literally rides his motorcycle directly into the into the EMP field. And it is quite literally like watching somebody roll into an AT field talking about Evangelion. So this guy riding his motorcycle hits this, and two opposing forces colliding each other. He goes flying off his bike, breaks some bones. OJ tries to help him, but at the end of the day, this guy is just like, hey, be sure, like, hey, instead of helping me, like, take a picture, get footage of this. And, like, again, to a certain point, this is where it starts to get, like, kind of unrealistic, where it's just like, okay, like, I don't know if an actual human...
You work at TMZ?
I don't know if an actual human whose bones are broken from this motorcycle accident would be acting like this in this scenario. But again, that's part of the point. Surprisingly, some people would be more concerned with getting the footage. again, he probably doesn't realize that his life is at stake here.
Yeah.
But OJ tries to help him, but this guy isn't, like, again, he's prioritizing getting the footage that he needs, and so OJ kind of has to go, sorry guy, bye! And the guy gets sucked up and eaten, leaving his motorcycle behind, conveniently enough.
We have spent, again,
Yeah.
we've spent most of the footage plot recapping, and holy shit, this is much.
So, again, they get the shot. They get the money shot. It's awesome. But Antlers, he's obsessed. And so he goes, you know, the lighting, it's almost magic hour right now. It's like, no, guy, no!
Oh
you
my
got the
god,
shot.
it's not worth it for your
And
fucking
so
magic hour shot.
He steps out and he's like,
For those
don't
not
worry.
familiar, magic hour is when the natural lighting is best for filming, picture taking.
It usually
etc.
happens around twilight or dusk.
Yeah.
Sunrise, sunset.
Yeah.
That's when you got the sweet spot.
Yeah.
And so he goes out and literally walks into the jaws of death to try to get the perfect shot. And so he also gets sucked up with his hand cranked camera and gets eaten. It almost gets Angel killed too, but luckily he's able to, he gets knocked off the hill, and luckily he's able to wrap himself in, sadly, in barbed wire to prevent himself from getting sucked up along with it. So, kudos to you, Angel.
My dude with a survival instinct.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the camera gets dropped back out at some point.
We never see it again.
Oh, shit.
But basically, the plan has gone sideways. This could have all been for nothing. M and OJ are on opposite sides, and the alien's going back and forth, looking at them. M, one of her many skills that she plugs is that she's great with motorcycles. She's great with motorcycle stunts, and so she decides that there's still one more way that they can get the shot that they need. And at Jupiter's Claim, there is a well, and they actually had this available at the influencer event that they did to promote this event, which I was lucky enough to get a +1 invite to. Thank you, Markia McCarty. You're a rock star. But they have a part of this tourist trap is that they have a well where you can take pictures. Where you look in and you put a token in, crank the thing, and it takes a picture of you looking down into the well. And so, using this thing that looks like an eye, that's where she's like, there's still a way we can get a picture that doesn't require any digital stuff. And so she gets it to follow her, essentially, and she goes to Jupiter's Claim and uses, it's got lots of, all the tokens are scattered, and so she's actually able to get a shot of it using this. And you've probably seen it in the trailers, but there's a big balloon of Ricky, you know, like Jupiter's Claim, which is another character he played actually in another movie he was in as a child. And this is, using the balloon, she's able to distract the alien so she can get the money shot from this well. And this is technically foreshadowed at the very beginning with the balloon that popped, that set off Gordy.
Oh no.
The alien, seeing the face on it and seeing eyes on it, goes, this is a thing. It's
challenging me.
It's challenging me. And so it consumes the balloon, and the balloon pops, killing the alien.
Wow.
And so Emerald killed the alien. She won.
Holy shit.
And this is a bittersweet thing because she got the money shot, or as they call it, the Oprah shot. That's what they were aiming for this whole movie. But also, at the end of the day, this was just an animal. Like, there was no morality assigned to this thing. It was just, it picked an area as territory. And yeah, like, even prior to the Jupiter's Claim incident, like, there were some news reports talking about, like, some people going missing. And so, yeah, it was eating people and horses and probably other livestock, but it's just an animal.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Do we have
not
any
like
idea, like, where it came from or what the note just showed
none
up?
whatsoever.
Fair.
So yeah, sorry, this was more of a plot synopsis. Sorry,
And we're basically out.
I hope I didn't stomp on any of your questions. Do you have any other questions?
My questions were mostly just like,
Again,
to be fair, this answered a lot of
well, and that's the thing, is that this is a very dense movie.
Yeah.
Like, you'd ask a question and I would be like, okay, let's put a pin in this. Let's go back.
We're gonna go over here.
You asked a question about Ricky and I was like, let's go back to 1996. So
boy bands were the biggest thing. It was Backstreet Boys versus NSYNC.
Backstreet's back. Alright. No, but
We have preferences.
like, again, this is a very dense movie. It touches on a variety of themes.
I was not expecting animal. I don't know
Animal
what I was expecting,
exploitation,
but animal
essentially.
exploitation was not what I was expecting the theme of this movie to be. But then again, Jordan Peele is very good at, well, here's what you think it's going to be. And here's all this stuff it's actually about. It's what I expected, what I got, but it's flipped because what I got is better. Usually for that meme, it's the Pinterest version and then nailed it.
Well-
but this is the opposite.
Can we say we're all that surprised from somebody who clearly has a deep love of like the Twilight Zone, and where like not like where social commentary was a big thing in many of its episodes.
Yeah.
But it wasn't always the same social commentary in the same way that like so far in Jordan Peele's filmography, all of his films are about specific social issues, but it's not the same issue every single time.
I mean, I'm not surprised that it has social commentary. It's just that particular flavor. When the original thought was everyone going, "Oh, aliens."
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, we'll get social commentary."
We'll get
with aliens.
we'll
Nope.
get the typical alien commentary that we get with colonialism and
militarism and
we definitely still get the arrogance of humanity.
Is there a Jordan Peele movie where we don't get the arrogance of humanity? I'm gonna go with no.
It's each movie is about a different subset of people's arrogance, I suppose. Arrogance of people in power, in one way, in one shape or form or another. This one is less about like the arrogance of humanity of people in power and just more about like our perceived sense of control. But also,
and
again,
the thought of like man being above nature and able to bend nature to his whims, control it, etc. Especially in this very modern world where, let's be real, most of us are not super in touch with nature.
but also our fascination and obsession with spectacle and the way we consume media, where we're obsessed with it, we consume of it and dispose of it when it's no longer of use. I got this from actually a Looper video, so I can't take credit for this particular interpretation, but the alien, when you see its true form, because it kind of shapeshifts during different portions of the plot, but when you see it in its full glory towards the end when it starts chasing Emerald, you also get to see its eye. And the way the Looper video described it was its eye is very similar to a camera. And just like a camera, it can consume all who look upon it.
Whoa.
Yeah, right?
Whoa.
Right?
That's poetic.
Right?
Thanks,
Bravo,
Looper.
Looper. Again, I can't take credit for that particular interpretation.
Damn.
Like I said, I walked out of this movie and I thought about it for hours and I'm like, I need help unpacking.
Yeah.
Because it's very dense. And just like with every bit, it's like jam-packed full of tiny little details where if you watch it again and again, it's a more rewarding experience every time you do.
Yeah, very well constructed, very thoughtful. And then I would imagine things where you don't even think about them the first time you see it. And then the second time it's like, that's foreshadowing. That's foreshadowing. That's a horrifying detail. Dear God.
Like the balloon popping, setting off Gordy, foreshadowing the ending of the balloon popping to kill the alien, and also the exploding fist bump, like like that's also like foreshadowing too. It's again, it's a very dense film. Jordan Peele takes, a lot of, he's clearly very painstaking in like every detail. There's no detail too small to be important, if that makes any sense. So yeah. And I would love, there's a lot of talk about like, adapting anime to like live action stuff. I would love to see Jordan Peele like do a live action adaptation of any anime he wants, because he clearly loves the genre between the Akira slide and the Angel influence.
I don't want to see him adapt an anime. I want to see him make his own.
That'd be great. I'd love that.
Give me the 26 episode Jordan Peele anime magnum opus. I don't care what it's about. It'll be amazing.
So
my dude knows his shit.
The movie is very, very good. Me personally, I prefer his other two because they lean a little bit more into fantasy and horror. I'm not as big of a sci-fi person. There are exceptions to that rule, but just generally speaking, I'm less big on aliens and sci-fi. But this was a very good movie. And it's
a
definitely
send up from someone who understands the genre and how to work with it. How to play things straight, how to subvert things, and where to do one or the other.
Exactly. Because, at one point, when OJ says, he's like, I don't think it's a ship. I literally sat there in the theater and thought to myself, well, if it's not a ship, what is it? Like, I totally went into this movie thinking, like, that the big twist was that if you've ever seen the 1980s version of The Blob, spoilers for the 1980s version of Blob.
It's been 40 years.
But, like, the big twist in that movie was that it wasn't a blob from outer space. It was actually an experiment that our government created for biological warfare. And the powers that be were more interested in keeping this out-of-hand incident quiet than they were in actually protecting anybody.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought it was going to be similar commentary to that. I was completely wrong.
Yeah.
And this is again one of those things where like clearly the message is very different, and I'm okay with being wrong. So yeah,
like it's nice when they surprise you, but also
damn,
wow. How do you even like start with these ideas? Like where does the idea come for like I'm gonna make an alien movie? It's not really an alien movie. It's a kaiju movie. It's not a ship. It's just the one big alien. And we're gonna be like, all I can think of when you did the eyes on the back of the head thing is, I read this. It might be wrong. I read it a long time ago. But the whole working in areas infested with tigers and wearing masks on the back of your head because tigers won't go for you if they think you'll see them.
That's cool.
Again, this was a bit of trivia I picked up in like elementary school, so it's entirely possible that it is super wrong in many ways. I don't have a source I can cite for that because that was decades ago. But that's what it reminded me of, is throwing off predators with false eyes. There are moths that do that. That have eyes on their wings so they look like owls so people won't go after them.
The creatures,
predators.
The creature's final form is very reminiscent of a moth or a butterfly. In that same vein.
So, Mothra kaiju movie.
This makes me very sad in hindsight because I'm like, why couldn't Jordan Peele have directed one of the Jurassic Park sequels?
Because it would have been better than the rest of the franchise, with the possible exception of the first one, and like in that really awkward way that like everyone would know it. But it's like that's too good to be a Jurassic Park movie.
The Jurassic Park, like the first movie's goddamn near perfect, and I will fight anybody on that. But like most of the sequels, I have a soft spot for the second one, but most of the sequels are just silly, dumb fun. And it's just such a shame that like a goddamn near perfect movie that the franchise it spawned has to be just silly, stupid fun, when like if somebody like Jordan Peele had been allowed be like, hey, we want you to make the Jurassic Park movie, he could have given us something like Nope, but with dinosaurs! God damn it!
Can I say something super controversial?
Go for it.
That was The Last Jedi and everyone got mad.
Oh, you're right. I need you should say it.
That's going to be the whole comment section right there.
On that
note, we're out of popcorn and out of whiskey, which means we are out of time.
Do you have any final questions, like rapid fire? Anything?
Did you like it?
Yes. Like I said, I prefer the other two because they lean further into horror and fantasy. But this was very good.
Is it the sort of thing where you would bring someone and watch them just to watch their reactions, or would you be too into it yourself to watch someone else watching it?
I think there are certain parts where I'd be looking over to see their reactions, specifically the Gordy bits and specifically the bits where like the audience gets like full consumed. I would be looking at the person I invited.
The spectacle.
Yes, indeed. I would be looking at their reactions. But again, like I said, this is a very rewarding movie for people who decide to rewatch it.
All right.
Cool.
I think most of the questions were just like, just tell me.
Yeah, I
want to know.
Sorry.
Just tell me.
That's why this is a weird Q&A. That's why this is not going to be cut up into pieces.
It's a wild one, but that's what we're here for.
Anyway.
It's a little wild.
Drinking
game kind of failed because I stopped making alien jokes and saying no.
A lot of this video was just you like listening to like the plot going, what?
I guess in some ways it was a reaction video.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Katie, where can people go if they want to find you?
You can follow me all over the social medias as well as on YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. If you like reaction videos, discussion videos, etc. that are not horror themed, they live on that channel. I am also on a Monday night weekly show called Nighttime at the Nerd Bar. That is on the Fanversation channel. I post clips of it on my channel, but if you want to join us for the live chat, it's 7:30 p.m. every Monday. We talk about nerd shit. We have a really good time.
And I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. Follow Silver Screams at Silver_Screams. Like us on Facebook, all that jazz. I do a podcast called No Love Lost, where my co-host loves Lost and I don't. We are also both members of Rooster Team Radio. Go check those out. We talk about Rooster Teeth related things. And like I said at the top of the video, go and check out what Black creators and critics have to say about this movie, because they can give a more in-depth analysis about what this means for the Black experience and how it conveys the Black experience better than we ever could. So, please go do all those things. Like, subscribe, ding. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you all next time.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Not aliens. Nope.
Nope.
Why the fuck was it called Nope? Just cause?
Because when OJ would look at a certain situation regarding the alien, he'd be like, nope.
Fair.
Nope.
Fucking
Nope.
fair.
Nope.
Fair.